Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast, where each week we speak with brands, icons, innovators, and trailblazers within the fly fishing industry, exploring both the successes and failures they've encountered along the way to become who they are today. But first, if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast or joined our email list, please do so by going to the flyfisherinsiderpodcast.com, or you can also find us on Instagram at flyfisherinsiderpodcast. Now let's begin. Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. Today our guest, Susan Smith from Chinook Wind Outfitters. Susan, how are you?
Great. Good to hear from you. How are you?
Very well. We're keeping busy, and I'm sure you're much busier as we enter tying season, and things are cranking along. So, tell us about Chinook Wind. I know, but you guys, it's just for me to introduce you a bit more. Here is you're a fly distribution shop that you guys have a huge online presence. You guys are sending out materials. You have a tying team. You have a ton of stuff going on. You're based in northern BC, Chetwynd, to be honest, or actual. And what else am I missing here? Just really quickly before we dive into everything that's fun and good.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, actually. We have a really strong tying team. Our pro staff is amazing. We do have an online store. We also have a brick and mortar, so people can do both. Trying to carry just some really hard to find unique brands from across the world. So we're slowly but surely building that up. And then as well as local stuff that everybody knows, like a Nature Spirit brands, UV2, Techstream, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're a little bit of everything, actually. We carry TFO rods, forged reels, all sorts of stuff. So we're kind of a one-stop shop.
Cool. We're going to jump into that. But before we get into all that, tell us a bit about your background and how you came to start Chinook Wind.
Well, it was just actually quite simple. Went fishing with my husband. I fished year-round for years, and he had an old TFO rod that he used, and he gave me a head start. I caught 2. He caught 18 in less time than I did. I said, I'm done. And started fly fishing from there. And then I looked at his flies and said to him, well, this can't be that hard to tie. So I said, well, surprisingly, I still got my old fly tying kit. So he dug it out of his old Sunrise fly tying kit. And I tied on that for quite a long time. And just got better with that. And then I got thinking, I'm kind of tired of always having to order materials, because there was no place that, then still to this day, there's nothing close to me within hundreds of miles that is a dedicated fly shop. Mm-hmm. Most of the ones are, they have a little spot in the back corner next to the hockey sticks, and that's all you get. So I decided, okay, well, enough's enough. I'm going to open a brick and mortar, and I'm going to make it a true e-commerce website as well, because we are so tiny that I do need more support than just what's local, even though they're absolutely amazing people here. We needed to reach out further. So that's why we started that.
No, and it makes sense. I'm glad you recognize that your business, requires that, but yet you're still servicing that local community up in Chetwynd, which is, fantastic. I think that's great that you guys recognize that early enough too, as well. So, so you got the brick and mortar aspect, you got the online portion going on. And you mentioned earlier that you sell everything from rods to reels to tying materials. What's your primary basis? Like, what's the core? What's the nucleus of your business?
It's probably a combination. We sell a lot of flies, and it's not just to the locals. We have a lot of people traveling through on the way tour from Alaska. People coming up here just to fish the grayling. We do have amazing grayling fishing up here. And then there's guys that are working up here on, say, pipeline projects or windmill projects. They wanted to go fishing, forgot their flies. So these guys are coming in and they're buying a bunch of flies. So between the flies and the materials, that's my primary sellers.
Nice. And where are you sourcing these like flies and these materials? Because Chinook Wind has that standard, that quality that everyone's sort of accustomed to. And for those that don't know and those that are listening, I mean, Chinook Wind is a staple here in BC. It's a long time company. Susan's done a great job. She has particular strong roots within my community, the Stillwater community as well as the salmon steelhead kind of community. So what where do you source all this stuff? How do you get, because you get some pretty cool materials, Susan.
Yeah, at first I tried to get everything from Canada, which I did for quite a while, but I couldn't get everything I wanted, and I couldn't always get the quality I wanted. So I started sourcing more into the States, so I started with that as well. And now it's moved overseas. So I'm actually importing now from France, from Czechoslovakia, from Italy, and places like that too, because they do have some of them seem to have a higher quality, standard of quality than some of the other places that I've bought from, and the innovation is incredible as well. So I tend to go overseas a lot lately, I would say, especially to companies like Techstream. That's one of the companies that we're bringing in really hard and heavy here this year. When I first got their threads, I was just blown out of the water. So I got that and Brill and a bunch of other stuff. But it's just a matter of constantly reaching out to different companies and saying, hey, do you wholesale? You got some really cool things I would love to carry, and seeing how it goes from there.
Well, let's talk about those threads. What makes those threads so fantastic that you're willing to go all in on them?
Well, I tell you, if you tie chronomids, oh my goodness, you're going to be in love with this.
Wow,
the Techstreams, yeah, they're fantastic. As you said, we do a lot of tying for stillwaters and for trout and spay and that sort of thing. These are not just your normal threads. They're a very fine thread. I got the 3/0, 6/0, and 8/0. And for their denier, they're actually really fine, and they lay super flat. This is not a round thread whatsoever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and they're very strong for their size, which is what really got me quite impressed with them, that I'm thinking, geez, this is, it says it's a 6/0, but holy crap, it's really small, eh? And I was really impressed. Like, I had to yank that sucker to get that to break. A lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought it would be quite simple to break, but no, it wasn't. So I'm really impressed with how strong they are for their size. The quality is very high quality. This is not just some junkyard thread by any means.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it's that like quality that you are known for, which is why, why we're doing this interview as well. So, when we talk about the quality, we talk about going overseas and stuff like that. How does it? And here's what kind of confuses me. Like, let's look at it like this. What's the population of Chetwynd?
You're gonna laugh when I tell you it's 3,100.
3,100. So, when someone leaves town, let's call it an even 3,000. So, 3,000 people, this tiny town, you've got this tiny fly shop, this pretty big business. I'm like, how is it that you're doing business with these, like in Czechoslovakia and all that sort of stuff? Like, what are some challenges that you face, like, with that? Like, and yet, these companies that are like, yeah, we'll supply you. And yet you're also making you're exceeding the sales and the demand for here in Canada for distribution. So how does that, like, see where I'm kind of going with it? Like, how does a tiny town, like, how do you focus and how do you create that? How did you create that?
It's just tenacity. That's all it is. It's just pure tenacity and bullheadedness and ignorance. I refuse to quit. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to quit doing what I do and doing what I love. And it's just finding that stuff. I see people's Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts and websites of this really amazing stuff. I've never heard of these people before in my entire life. They're over, say, Russia for, all I know. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at their website or looking at their Instagram and saying, wow, they've got some really cool stuff. I've never seen that before in Canada. I've got to get it. Or there's only one or two other guys that I know in Canada that have it. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of reaching out. That's all it is. Just go on the internet, do a lot of research, and reach out and see what happens. I'm bringing in actually antique pencils that were made in France from over 100 years ago. Found a website, reached out to them, and they said, yeah, we've got antique tinsel. So I've got that coming in a couple of weeks for the Classic Spade guys.
Awesome. We're in. Tell us about this product.
Oh, they're cool. They're so cool. And it really is. That's all it is. There's this little store, and people would sell them, when companies would go out of business. He would buy all their little trinkets. So he's got all sorts of antique tinsel. He's got twists, and he's got products for the ladies when they're doing their lace hats and antique buttons. And it's just, you go to the site and you talk to these people. It's like going back in time about 150 years. It's really cool.
That is.
And I have reached out to them about some of their embossed tinsels and stuff like that. So for the guys that don't want the antique, they just want a normal everyday piece of mylar, we've got that. But for the guys that want to do like maybe an exhibition fly, or they're doing a fly as a favor to a friend, as a gift, and they want to make it extra special, well then, yeah, they could get the actual antique tinsels that were originally made in France, and this is the real deal.
Yep, really cool. I just love how you're sourcing this. I love how you're finding the quality and you're going about doing it. So, what are some challenges that you do face? And I know that you are the owner, and I mean you're a woman in this industry. You've been around for a long time. You've got roots, and you've got a lot of people supporting you and stuff like that. But what are some challenges, if any, have you faced?
Not enough shop space. Yeah, that's probably the biggest. We started off with a very small building. We just actually added on to it this year. So, and I'm already too big. Too big for the two buildings that are combined now. So a lot of it, that's really just about it. It's just space, having the place to put everything, having the money. I don't know if there's enough money in the world for me to bring in everything I want to bring in. I've got a list a mile long. It's longer than Santa's list of products that I found, or companies that I found that I think are doing a really unique product or having a really unique brand that I would like to have. So yeah, it's just one step at a time, just trying to keep it at that. I have a hard time doing that, though. I want to get carried away and just go whole hog and buy everything that these people have, but it's not exactly the smartest according to my banker.
Yeah, probably we agree. It's probably not, but we'd love to see you get there as well, for sure. Susan, one of the things too is like you tie yourself. You mentioned that. So what's your favorite bug to tie? What's your style? Do you have a particular style? Do you have something regionally, locally? Do you like still water?
I tie just about everything. It really doesn't matter. I don't tie a ton of spay. I do tie a little. Most of my focus is on trout and for what works in this area. So with that being said, it's pretty much grayling, bull trout. There is some kokanee here. Then if you go a little south, you go towards Prince George, stuff like that, you start running into salmon. But I can't say I have a favorite pattern. I tied a lot of different patterns. I can't really say there's anything in particular. Like, we do a lot of leeches, muddlers, a lot of stillwater, a lot of perdigons. Actually, I do love tying perdigons an awful lot. They're a pretty fun little fly.
Nice. Do you have this tying team, and if you want to talk a bit about that and how that all came about, that'd be great. Because I mean, you're tying, plus you have this amazing team of tyers that are helping you out as well. And I know we're now involved with helping you out on that as well, through a project that we have coming up. So talk about your tying team, the specialties, how they play a role in Chinook Wind.
Well, that's one thing I tell you. I'm very, very fortunate. In my eyes, I have one of the best teams going, but I imagine every company feels that way. I'm super proud of our pro staff. They're amazing family, and that's exactly what they are. They're not just another number to us. This is part of the Chinook Wind Outfitters family. We keep in touch. We support each other. We help each other when we can. There's no I in team. Not in this company. There's no place for that. No egos. So with that being said, we do work together. They put out a fly. Everybody puts out a fly every month, and we put it on our website with the recipe so customers can go and have a look and say, oh yeah, I want to try, say, Ryan Taylor's fly he put out this month, so they can go there and look at that. And we have some amazing ambassadors as well: Dennis Gamboa, Jerry French, Kate Watson. We also work with Phil Rowley. So yeah, we're really, really fortunate. We're very particular with who we work with. We want to make sure everybody has the same values as we do, and that is it's a fun sport. We're not saving lives here. This is nothing to be cutthroat and crazy about. This is fishing, so let's just have fun.
Susan, I noticed you talked about Kate Watson. Do you feel that bringing that element of having other female tires in there solidifies the business and only pushes it further? Like, and it grows your business into new territory, and it shows that women tires are fantastic?
Oh, of course. Absolutely, of course. This is no longer the old boys club. And you know what? In a lot of ways, it never really was.
Good.
There was always females in the industry.
Yeah.
There are some people that thought maybe, it should be guy only, and good on them. But when you look at Mrs. Wolf and what she's done, Carrie Stevens, Megan Boyd, there's always been women in the industry. It's just, there's more of us now.
Definitely. And you guys have a great voice. You're you know what I mean, fastest demographic growing in fly fishing. The voice is there, the power is there, the industry's noticing it, they're adapting to it. It's great. So, and the fact that you guys have recognized that, but not only early, but you continue to blaze that trail and do that and support that is fantastic on Chinook Wind. I think that's great. So you just have Kate Watson. Everyone sort of knows, if they don't know, Spey flies, all that classic flies. Do you have any other female tires?
Oh, certainly. Irene Vucko is another one. She is absolutely amazing. Lisa Weiner out of Connecticut, another one that is absolutely amazing as well. She did some incredible free. Her free designs are amazing. So yeah, those are my two main females. Really, really proud of them, as I am with everybody else.
No, I love it. So I just love how you've encompassed that. So, Susan, where I want to go with this now is I want to ask you, what does the future hold for you? Like, what's up? What's next?
Take over the world.
Didn't Madonna say that? Rule the world or something like that in an interview in the 80s? I remember that. So I'm dating myself here, but yeah.
No, yeah, it's okay. You're dating me too, because I remember that. But to be in all honesty, I would love to get bigger, and I'm going to continue to grow and to get bigger. I want to expand our product lines. How big do you get? I don't know.
Well, that was good. Funny you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question. How big do you get? How big do you want to get? To the point where, like you've got a great business. It's on, I don't want to say it's on autopilot, but I mean, because you're always, growing and moving and adapting, but how big do you get? That's the question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I haven't got there yet. So I'm just going to keep going until I decide enough is enough. But yeah, I don't really know. I do know I'm not there yet.
Well, I mean, which is that's the true calling of an entrepreneur, I guess, in that aspect. Like, you're not there, but you got to go. So is there any direction of going into a salt water tying materials? Or are you strictly kind of staying back from that aspect? Like, cause that's a whole new world as well.
It is. And no, you're actually right. I will be going into saltwater. So people that are going overseas, or maybe going to Mexico, they're going to Christmas Island, Seychelles. Yeah, you will be able to come here and buy product. The reason I haven't done it, because I thought I better start when I started this company with things I know. So let's start with the fish in this area and what I'm comfortable tying with, and then we'll go from there. So I did, and it's still growing, but then I started getting more comfortable with Spey, started bringing in more Spey stuff. Still not even close to where I want to be with Spey, but it's getting there. And yes, next stop, tarpon. GTs, all that good stuff. And there's already products lined up. It's just a matter of when do I pull the trigger.
So you're set and ready. You've identified that niche, that market, the demographic, of course. And Chinook Wind is, do you think 2021 will bring that?
It all depends on COVID, doesn't it? Because right now, none of us are going to Christmas Island.
It does depend. It does depend on COVID, and it's it's kind of funny you mentioned that. I know we just had a conversation with a lodge out there for Christmas Island. I told them I'd love to go, but that's just probably not going to happen right now. So, yeah, it's crazy. How has COVID affected your business? Has it been positive or negative?
Well, I tell you, as soon as they announced it back there in March, for 2 weeks it was dead. And I wouldn't say I panicked, but I definitely put the brakes on and went, oh my, what's happening here now? Because I wasn't getting orders for 2 weeks, and that's really unusual for me. If I don't get an order every day, it's really unusual. But when it went for 2 weeks and I had nothing, I just kind of sat back and thought, okay, well, let's just not panic. Let's watch for a while. And then all of a sudden the floodgates opened and she just came in and it flooded. Like, it cleaned me. Well, I'm still recovering, still trying to get stock back on the shelf. And that is really hard right now because so many factories, so many companies were either shutting down for COVID overseas, or they were running with a skeleton crew and they just didn't have enough people to pack orders. So unfortunately, because of the way that happened, a lot of companies, not just myself, but other ones in the same category as me, same thing. People were bored. They're staying at home. They want to tie flies. And, instead of ordering 2 things of 6 black, now they're ordering 6. And they're getting 10 white to go with it and 4 green. Mm-hmm. And, I see that really nice chenille. She's got that. I'll take 3 of every color. Before they were taking 2 of 3 colors and that was it. So, it really, I was very grateful. Don't get me wrong, extremely grateful. It's just really hard to fill the shelf. So we're struggling trying to get orders. And our manufacturers that we buy from our distributors, they're in the same boat.
Yep.
We order from them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how that shutdown affected the outdoor industry as a whole, like the entire outdoor. Like, I don't know one person. I've done a lot of these interviews with brands and guides and stuff like that. And there's so many people when I ask them that question, it's just like, at first we were worried. And then all of a sudden it just hasn't stopped. And people are just like, we're still trying to catch up. Demand, back orders, demand, waiting on product. We have a little bit, but it's already pre-sold. Like, it's just crazy the amount of people within that. And in so many shops, I've gone to shops and I'm like, how is it? They're like, this best May ever. Best May on it's just. So,
well, if you have a time shop, you're okay. Now, if you're a guide, that's a whole nother ballgame.
I mean, again, like talking to some guides, whereas, it definitely took from them. Like, and especially fish specific seasons, for sure, definitely took from them. But then there's other guides I've talked to, and they're like, "Man, we haven't stopped. Best season on record." But they've had to adapt. There's a lot of things like new costs associated, or how they've had to guide, trying to keep socially distanced and stuff. So I know there's all these other factors that came in. But it's amazing how that happened. And in one sense, I'm super excited that, people like yourself got to benefit from that, and more people got to experience tying during that time, or the outdoors, whether they're new to it or not. You know what I mean? It's really cool, super cool that people got to experience that. So for sure, Susan, so we talked about what's next and where you want to go. Tell me about Chatwin. Tell me about the fish in the area like that. I want to paint a picture as to what you guys are hitting up there.
Oh, well, you should come up here and try, because if you love grayling, we can certainly accommodate you. We've got amazing grayling fishing up here, and bull trout. Actually, we have a world-class bull trout fishery up here, amazing bull trout. There's everything from walleye, lingcod, pike, rainbow trout, brookie trout, you name it. We have an immense amount of different fish up here. We're really lucky. Lakers, whitefish, the list goes on and on. This area is really, really nice as far as the different varieties that you can fish for. It's not just one or two, and it's not just still water. We have rivers like the Pine, the Murray, Sakonka. So whether you're still waters or whether you're into moving water, this area covers everything. And we're right in the heart of the mountains. So when you're going out there, chances are you're going to see a grizzly, you're going to see a black bear, wolf, lynx, caribou, moose, deer. So it's not just the fishing. The outdoors here is just amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful area.
I couldn't agree more. I definitely couldn't agree more. So I think I'm going to take you up on that offer and get up there and do some grayling and pike fishing. I know it's on my list this year to do for sure. So definitely. So if I was to, before I let you go, Susan, I want to just ask you, is there any parting words that you have?
Well, it depends on who for.
For the audience.
Just whatever you're doing, if you're passionate about it, don't stop and don't let anybody get in your road. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people that say you can't do it. Ignore them, because they're the ones that probably tried to and failed or were too scared to even try. So ignore the ones that say you can't do something or you shouldn't even try. If you don't try, you never know if you're going to be able to do it or not. And that's going to be your biggest regret for the rest of your life, is you didn't try. So whether it's you want to be a guide, whether you want to be a truck driver, whether you want to do anything, own a business, be anything you want to be, and just flip and try. Don't ever let anybody tell you you cannot do it.
Definitely some good inspiration there for sure. So, Susan, I'm going to make sure I put all the details within the show notes, but where can people find you?
Well, you can do both. You can go online and see us at ChinookWindOutfitters.com. We also have the map there. So if you want to actually stop by the store, you can do that. We're just located just outside of Chetwynd, just a little ways, right at the beginning of the Pine Path.
Okay. And on Instagram?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Instagram as well, and Facebook.
Perfect. And what's your handle?
Just Chinook Wind Outfitters.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going to definitely put that in the show notes for sure, Susan. So, and I definitely want to thank you guys and listeners. I want to thank you as well. So thanks, Susan.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Fly Fishing Insider podcast. If you like this podcast episode, please let us know. Leave a review and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast listening platform.